Hello, it's Greg, and this is the second part of the Xeokit SDK walkthrough. I want to show you today how nicely the Xeokit guys have split the materials needed to learn what you can achieve with that software development kit. So, based on their GitHub, you can go to different repositories, but the backbone of almost everything is the Xeokit SDK. This is the most important one, so let's start with that. And of course, there is quite a lot of code, which we will dive deeper in the next material, but now I want to show you that, as usually, in the README section, there is a very small subset of how you can use, what you have to add, how to load the model, how to view it, all of that. But yeah, that's just a very tiny subset of the Xeokit capabilities. And what I really like, that they have the separate website with the samples, and here they are split into different categories. Because yeah, the Xeokit is a quite powerful engine which can be used in different use cases. So if you are interested in the BIM models, then go into that one. If rather you think about the bigger scale, the city scale, then here it is. If you think about those scales, you get the point. And later, there are the small things which can be done with the Xeokit. For example, different kind of measurements, different kind of section planes, the picking options, the labels, all of that is split into different samples. And I like it because it makes very easy to get your attention, get your focus just on that small aspect. So, for example, in the samples for the labeling, they will be tailored exactly for that use case. So, you won't be overloaded with, oh, I have a new SDK and everything is new for me. No, it is very nicely split. But okay, let's start with something basic. So we just want to view our BIM model. And for that purpose, the Xeokit can load different file formats. It's internal, Xeokit, or some other ones. We will dive deeper in a few seconds. So let's start with something very simple. So for example, here we have, for example, this one. You just select the sample and you get the result. And here I can't select anything, I can't slice, because that sample is tailored for just viewing perspective. And you can always see the source code at the bottom left corner. Here you can see, okay, so what do we have here? We have some CSS, we have some HTML, but what is for us the most exciting is this JavaScript, which is inbuilt into the HTML file, but it's just for the visualization purpose. It makes to understand what is happening quite easy. You don't have to go through different files. Of course, later, when you will build something on top of the SDK, you can arrange your code base however you would like. But okay, here, what is the most important? That we are loading some modules, some plugins. This is the name inside of the Xeokit. So we get the most important viewer, but also we get some loader for that particular format. We are getting some navigation cube, the tree view, and fast navigation. And later you can see how those objects are constructed, what are their arguments. And of course, based on that, you can guess what does it mean, hide edges, hide SAO, not really. For me, it's something blurry. So you can always go into more rich documentation when every plugin is described. And that's wonderful that here we have just a sample, how it can get to up and run. That's all, without more information, what are the different options. But here, yeah, we see that the fast navigation plugin is to make this rendering when you are rotating much faster, and you see that it gets blurry, you don't see edges, but probably it can be changed with that property. But here there is the description, what every plugin does, how you can use it, what are the use cases, and also what are the different members influence on how that is working. So here almost every plugin, it always have to, we need to have to provide the viewer. This is the core, this is the backbone, this is the most important aspect of any SDK, of any Xeokit application. And then to that viewer, you can attach different plugins. So if you want to, for example, provide your users the ability to dimension something, then you have to provide probably the angle measurements plugin. And here on that website, you can see some animations, some GIFs, which shows how it works. But of course, I rather would like to see it live, and this is what that split makes possible. So here, let's close that. Let's go close that. And let's go one more time to that tree. So here we are getting the ways how we can load our model, and it can be in that format. It can be in some splitting between different models. So here we see some bridge, quite nice one. And if we go to the code, we can see probably that there are more than just one file loaded. So let's try to see. Here we are loading. Okay, so yeah, here we are trying to see some manifest, and probably inside of that there are different models. But of course, we should look into that manifest to see the details. And as you can see, it is also inside of that repo. So in the assets, and what was that? Assets, models, Xeokit. Here it is, then version 10 and split, and this one. So let's look into the manifest, and here you can see that, okay, so here is the list of 9 files which are located exactly in the same directory. Here they are, and those are binary files which are loaded and used to compose that scene. So yeah, in terms of performance, of efficiency, you can split your model into very more files than just one. So this is that one. Here we are getting some other file formats, some binary GLTF, and every time when you are interested in such particular format, here we have also the textures. So you can always look into the code to see, okay, so how exactly is it working? So we have the viewer as always, and as you can see here, we are getting a different plugin for loading the data. We are also getting some reflection map and some encoding for the colors. So here we are getting some reflection map. You can always check what exactly graphic is there. And after composing all of that stuff, this is the final effect. And why I like it? Because if I really like the use case, which is already covered in those samples, I can get that file, tweak it a little, modify, and see that the Xeokit will solve my problem. It will solve my use case. So here, for example, we have the .bin format, and we can, just try here. So here we have just, with different colors. Okay, quite nice. And for example, this one, that probably, that we show that all of those faces, they have the different color. And that one, we can see that, okay, so we see some steel structure. And that is the .beam and web IFC. That's quite an important one, because if you want to load the IFC file directly into the Xeokit without some intermediate steps, then you have to use the web assembly. So here, the same model as Duplex, but if we look into the code behind, then we will see that here we are importing some web IFC. Here it is. So, and also we need an extra plugin, and let's see how it is done. So here we need to provide the plugin with the viewer, and also, that's the most important one, because in the background of your web browser, you need to, maybe it's not your duty, but the duty of that web IFC to squeeze the IFC file, to read it, to convert that step schema into the 3D geometry, into the triangles, which will be displayed in the web browser. So that sample is for anyone who would like to get your IFC models just working as you now see. You are providing the raw IFC, not the post-processed IFC in the Xeokit format. But doing it on every instance, on every viewing of your IFC file, for the big models, it will be quite time consuming. So that's why the Xeokit has its own internal format, and the conversion, how the IFC should be parsed into that separate format. We will talk about that in the next material. Okay, and of course we can see also some GLTF, and here that's a small thing, but I think that here is quite a nice texture for those stars. Okay, this is all about just loading, and yeah, that's quite important to get the understanding that the Xeokit is not only for the IFC. The IFC is just one of the formats. It can read quite a lot of different formats to solve different use cases. So that's why for every format you use a different loader. And I'm quite sure that there are somewhere there is a list of those formats. For example, here we will be working in the city area, so different, for example, city JSON. That's a completely different schema, different format, and yeah, here it is. So let's look into the code. As you can see, the different plugin will be used for that, the city JSON loader, and here it is, and here is our JSON, which has to be loaded, which will reflect our quite nice scene, I would say. Okay. You know, I was just thinking about playing some video games when I looked at that. Okay, so those are samples about the viewing the city, some LiDAR scans, all of that you can get. Here we have some other formats, but rather those will be related to 3D XML. Not very used, but yeah, from the SolidWorks. So it shows how rich is the Xeokit, how many different use cases you can achieve with that. And as always, it should be treated as a backbone, as a very fast engine for displaying the graphics. But as we can very soon see, it's not only for viewing, but it's also for adding some nice features. So let's go into the navigating models, sorry. So here, what we can see that you can change how you go through the model, because now I will, yeah, this is the first person, so I am moving like, yeah, I'm just playing video games with WASD and arrows. So I have some extra possibilities to operate on that model. Maybe you need it, maybe not, but you can always, let's see where it is. So that particular first person is set probably here, but what I saw when I checked that HTML file, I saw that under that question mark, there's quite a lot of different, yeah, you can change the keyboard layout, you can change, will it work or not? Now I'm just trying to move, but as it is disabled, it is not working. But of course, later you can try it once more. And there are different settings. So for example, we can change how the rotation will it be quick or rather not, what is the inertia, you know, quite a lot of different settings which you can tweak. And you know, I'm thinking, what other web viewer provides you so many internal mechanics that you can steer around? And I don't say anything. So three, if you want to play around, to think about, okay, so what you can bring to your customers based on the viewing some B models in the web browser, then that's great. But okay, let's see the animation. So here, animating the camera along a path. And now, you know, here in my hands, the model is moving alone. And of course, I have to check what exactly is inside, because probably the path is written as a set of points. And as you can see, we are going to the internal of the building. Yeah, I was not watching it previously, so I'm not sure we'll be going to the some fancy, you know, staircase movement. But yeah, here we have the list of positions where the camera is, what is it looking above, and what is the vector up. Oh, here we are inside. So if you want to create such an animation on your model, you can do it. And as you can see, you can always see how it has to be set up. Of course, yeah, you will have to get to know what points should be picked, but it is possible based on the Xeokit. So if you need such animations, then it's there. And okay, let's not be here too long. So let's close that. And that was about the navigating models. And of course, there are more plugins which you can see, but let's go one more next, the BCFs. So we can load some BCFs. Oh, here we have some navigation cube, and probably that BCF is related to selecting those models, but of course you can always see what is new. So here there is the new plugin for the BCFs, and here it is used. And what is it exactly? Okay, so we are loading the viewpoint, but where exactly it is coming from? Here it is. Okay, so this is not stored in any file. It's just here in the code. It's hard coded. But yeah, you can see what exactly is for that BCF. And there are other samples when you can, for example, loading BCF with X-rayed objects. So let's try to load something when those objects will be X-rayed. So now you see those slabs a little more verbose, more clearly, and that's just like that. Let's go into some other samples. So here you can get some snapshots. When you have some textures, it will be very nice. Things about the performance. So when you are dealing with a very big models, what you can do. But I want to go with the measurements. Let's try with that. And as you can see, there is a ton of samples. How you can place those measurements. Do you want to do them from the code behind, or maybe from some just picking? So let's try to with that. I'm not sure what will. Oh yeah, that's the very nice sample. When you see on the top left corner the magnifier, when you can specify which point has to be picked, and I really like that. And of course, here now we have something on under the right mouse click. We can deactivate that magnifier or not. Here, this is the same dimension, and we can just show some things. And as always, you can see the code. You can see what is the type of the plugin, what are its features. Do you want to allow this kind of measurements, or do you don't want to have the length? And yeah, you can hide everything or show everything. It is all up to you. This is the magic of the Xeokit, that you can set up it however you would like. Of course, there are some limitations, as always, but truly I feel that it gives you a lot of freedom. The picking, so for example, do you want to pick the first object or maybe other pick? The interactive picking, double click, selecting it is by double clicking. So yeah, just what you would expect to have. But as you saw previously, it is not in the viewer itself. It's a separate plugin which can be configured. So here we have on the viewer the possibility to here it is. So we are adding some event that if something could be double picked, then we want to do highlighting with that. And you can always pick those things. Oh, this is quite nice. When the objects are overlapping, then I am trying to, now I am not picking with the left click, but I am just moving my mouse wheel, and then the ray is going before and after the first object. So maybe you need that feature, and you can configure the Xeokit based into your needs. And what's next? The slicing and the labeling. So let's go with those two because they are quite typical. So with the labeling, you can create some labels when you click something. So of course now they are just dummy random labels, but they come in the point when you click. And as far as I know, those tags, they are fully customizable. So you can write any CSS, any HTML, what you want to have inside, and that's quite wonderful because you are not limited to just some displaying properties, but you can do there much more. And I'm thinking, what is the sprite marker scene graph? I'm thinking, okay, so here we see that they can hide if they are behind some object, which just as you saw, A3, sorry, the red one. So it can be enabled or disabled. This is not that you need to deal how the developer had the idea, what is your use case. You can fine-tune the Xeokit based to your needs. Okay, so that's about the labeling, and the last one is about the slicing. So here I will just create some section plane. Oh, here it is, the section plane, and you can always rotate, quite unusual feature. It's not available in many other beam viewers. You can of course move it along 3 axes and yeah, even do something crazy like that. Why not? Maybe you need such a perspective into your building. You can do it with the Xeokit. Of course, those second places, they can be saved, they can be created programmatically. All of that can be done, but that is also something quite unusual, because here you see the arrow, but to move that, you need to click on that object. So yeah, I would like to say that with the Xeokit, you can just use your imagination. You are not limited to what is given to you by some software vendor. You can do a lot, truly a lot. And please try with those samples, look how they are configured, because based on that you will get very intimate relation with what are the possibilities of this SDK. Of course, you can look into the plugins as they are here, but usually, you know, sometimes they have some gifts. Oh, this is that plugin. Sometimes they don't have, so it's not always to get the idea. Okay, so what is the use case? When I will use that face aligned section planes plugin? Maybe based on the sample text, you will get that understanding, but I really, really like that way of exploring the SDK. And I would love that the same idea would go into other stuff in the software development, because it makes so easy to, okay, so in my web viewer, I will need slicing, I will need picking. Okay, so how it is done? Okay, so I need that plugin, let's connect them and compose our viewer, your individual viewer. That is the, you know, the essence. You can get those features and make your viewer unique, just like that. And all of that, it can be done with the Xeokit. So that's all about the samples. I hope that in the next material we will try to run them locally to try to compose different plugins based on your needs. But okay, for today, thank you, and we will see next time.